Today we're taking a look at these NHL matches, which are happening on Saturday, December 10, 2022, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. Also, check out our perks and join the High Stakes membership. Joining the High Stakes membership is easy, is cheap, but it will help a lot in the growth process of this channel. Plus, if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. By becoming a member of the High Stakes Patreon, you will have access to our best team picks, total picks, parlay picks and much more. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting predictions that ends up costing you a lot of time and money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Going back to our video, we will give you 2 betting picks for each game, a team pick and a total pick based on facts and detailed explanation. One more thing before we start, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link in the description and comments section below. And make sure to watch our videos till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Miami Heat vs San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs had lost 11 games in a row before getting into the win column the last time against Houston, as they look to carry that over onto the road on Saturday. The Heat is likely to be far more challenging than the Rockets were though, while the Spurs have also struggled in this series of late. The Spurs haven't been able to beat the Heat since the 2020 season, having lost both games last year, as well as a fair the year prior. While confidence might be trending upward from their win over the Rockets, it's still asking quite a bit out of this group to flip a switch when it comes to trying to take down the Heat. Away from home, the Spurs are also only 3-8 on the season, which should only be more of a reason for concern coming into the weekend. The Heat have had a slow start to the season, and even with much expected of them this season, questions remain as to how far this group can go. Sitting under .500 is unheard of for Miami over the last few years, but they'll be happy to welcome San Antonio to town. The Heat have dominated this series over the last handful of years, and even though they've struggled themselves, they'll still be heavily favored to take down the Spurs in this one. Miami has a 9-5 record at home, which is far better than how they've fared on the road, which should give them some confidence as tip-off approaches. They've only won 2 of their last 5 games, but with an easy slate of opponents coming up next after the Spurs, this is a great opportunity for them to string together some wins. There aren't many areas where San Antonio will have the advantage heading into this one, on both sides of the ball. They rank 30th in the league in a number of defensive categories, and while Miami is far from the elite in their own right, this could be a matchup the Spurs still struggle with. Keelan Johnson, 20.9 ppg, remains their scorer, while Tyus Jones, 6.8 apt, 1.5 spg, has been electric at point guard, though Devin Vassell, 20.5 ppg, and Poltel, 12.9 ppg, will be missed. Jones will need to continue to be strong defensively, but without the rim protection, getting stops could be difficult. Even though the Heat have struggled so far this season, Saturday is a game primed for them to find success and come away with an easy win. For the Spurs, the injuries continue to mount, and without some key scorers, they'll have a hard time keeping pace with a Miami team that is rounding into form. For Miami, the emergence of Jimmy Butler of late helps to give them another dimension on both sides of the ball, while there's no doubt that they'll be able to use Adebayo to dominate in the paint in this one. Additionally, according to covers.com, the Spurs are 0-4 at TS in their last 4 road games and are 1-9 at TS in their last 10 games overall, while the Heat are 5-1 at TS in the last 8 meetings between these two teams. Take Heat minus 11 points. The Heat have had a slow start to the season, and even with much expected of them this season, questions remain as to how far this group can go. Sitting under .500 is unheard of for Miami over the last few years, but they'll be happy to welcome San Antonio to town. The Heat have dominated this series over the last handful of years, and even though they've struggled themselves, they'll still be heavily favored to take down the Spurs in this one. Miami has a 9-5 record at home, which is far better than how they've fared on the road, which should give them some confidence as tip-off approaches. They've only won 2 of their last 5 games, but with an easy slate of opponents coming up next after the Spurs, this is a great opportunity for them to string together some wins. Miami's offense will be looking for a reawakening in this one, and they shouldn't have many issues finding that. The Spurs' defense has been brutal this season, and the piece to keep an eye on is Miami's ability to get to the free throw line and convert. The Spurs already have a thin lineup due to injuries, so getting them into foul trouble is a must. Miami. This past June, the Spurs traded away their best player, Dejounte Murray, for draft picks, which was a clear sign that San Antonio is on a full-on rebuilding mode. Popovich is still the coach. But he turned 74 in January, and it seems doubtful he will still be there when things get turned around. The Spurs are tied with the Houston Rockets for the worst record in the Western Conference at 7-18. In fact, San Antonio snapped an 11-game losing streak by beating Houston on Thursday. It was San Antonio's first win since November 11, marking the second longest skid in Spurs history. Despite its experience, Miami has struggled to find momentum this season, going just 2-3 in its past 5 games and 12-14 overall. But the Heat are coming off a 115-110 win over the Los Angeles Clippers on Thursday. Heat center Bam Adebayo, who had 31 points and 10 rebounds against the Clippers, game highs in both categories, is optimistic Miami will get going soon. The Heat continues to lead by Bam Adebayo, 21.2 ppg, 9.2 rpg, and he should be able to have his way inside in this one. With Jimmy Butler, 21.3 ppg, rounding into form himself, this is a dangerous combination for teams to try to slow down. Lowry, who is 4th in scoring, 14.4, and 2nd in assists 6, missed Thursday's game for rest purposes. He is expected to return on Saturday. Caleb Martin, who has started 25 of Miami's 26 games this season, has gone beneath the radar this season. Yet, he is averaging 11.3 points and leads the team in three-point percentage 41.5 points. The San Antonio Spurs are rebuilding at this point and have some decent pieces like small forward Keldon Johnson are going to need to play huge this season, and he has answered the call so far. He is putting up solid numbers as in 32.4 minutes of action he is averaging 20.9 points, 5.2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 0.9 steals per game. Johnson is shooting less than his career numbers, as he is shooting 40.6% from the field, 35.1% from beyond the arc, and 71.7% from the charity stripe. In his previous game against the Houston Rockets, he finished with 32 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, and 3 turnovers. If he can figure out how to continue scoring the basketball well, it will be a great spot for this team. The Miami Heat have been depending on the production of center Bam Adebayo, as he is averaging 21.2 points, 9.3 rebounds, 3.3 assists, 0.8 blocks, and 1 steal in 35.1 minutes per game thus far. He has been shooting well throughout the year as he is shooting 53.5% from the floor, 11.1% from the three-point line, and 85.8% from the free throw line. Adebayo played 36 minutes against the Los Angeles Clippers as he finished with 31 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. Looking at the last 3 games between these teams, San Antonio is averaging 104 points per game, while Miami is scoring 101.3 points per game in that same stretch. Neither team is getting to the free throw line enough this season, as well as the Spurs are 29th in basketball, with 19.6 free throw attempts per game thus far, while the Heat are 22nd in the NBA, with 22.5 free throws per game so far. All in all, go with the under in this game as well.